The most dangerous person to you as an employee in your organization isn't who you think it is. It's not the toxic boss. It's not the gossiping coworkers. It's your HR department. I know that sounds crazy, but you guys, you do realize HR doesn't work to protect you as an employee. HR's job is to protect the company. HR is the one who's doing the paperwork when you get laid off or terminated to make sure that the company eliminates all risk and can pay the least amount of severance. HR is the one that you file complaints to and things never get resolved. The biggest lie being told in corporate America right now is that HR is an advocate for the employee, and that's wrong. HR is there to protect the company. And don't forget that.
This gentleman is absolutely spot on. HR should actually be renamed CR for company resources. They are there to protect the company first and foremost.
To HR. Please stop running to HR. I have a background in human resources, and I'm going to tell you, HR is to protect the company, for risk. And when you are trying to tell them that your boss, your manager has done something and has offended you in any type of way, has done something, they are going to go straight to your manager. They say they will just fire you, they could just fire you, but most of the time they will have some kind of documentation too. So while you are feeling offended and need to document things, they may be documenting things against you, and they will always listen to the person that you report to first. So the thing that you have to do is don't be a coward. Make sure you go directly to your manager and report the situation. And if it's your manager, you're going to have to tell them what they did. And then you need to document every occurrence from that point on. And then you can go to HR. But realize that HR is to protect the company, not you.
She's spot on. And one thing that stuck out to me is when she used the word risk. You have to understand HR is there for risk management for the company. They want to mitigate any type of risk, any type of exposure that could put the company in any type of, any type of jeopardy. Again, they want to give you the least amount of severance. They want to make sure ultimately that the company's bottom line is protected, and you have to make sure if you're having an issue with one of your managers or any one of your coworkers that you definitely want to create a paper trail via email, have something documented, so you can have something on file.
Complain to HR because you trust them. You don't complain to them because you believe that they're going to resolve what you're going through. You go to them in a paper trail in order to develop your record, your legal record of your perspective of what you are going through that violates the law, in order to make sure that when you're raising those concerns, that you're doing it in a legally protected way in which they can't retaliate against you. And that's why it's so important. Don't depend on anyone. Anyone. No witnesses, no co-workers, no managers, no supervisors. Rely on yourself. Rely on the law. Understand how to use it. Develop a paper trail. Email your HR. Don't trust them, but trust yourself. To use language that is legally protected. Specify the unlawful treatment when you're going through it. When it's based upon your race, your gender, say it. Say racial discrimination, gender discrimination. Explain what is going on and retain a copy of these communications. It is vital. That is your proof. That is your evidence.
This gentleman is giving very good advice. And again, it's very important that you document. Again, if it's not documented, it did not happen. You also want to make sure that you understand that again, it's not just HR, it's your co-workers. You really have no friends at the workplace, and it sounds bad saying that, but it's just the reality. That doesn't mean that you can't, form some long-lasting bonds at the job, but in all reality, it's very rare. You're there to do a job. That's what you're paid to do. And again, if you find yourself in a circumstance where you're being discriminated against or you're bullied or any type of that, you want to make sure one, you know your policies and procedures of your workplace, and you're documenting all along.
Hey everybody, it's Sierra from Cageburg HR, and today we're going to be talking about why you should report things to HR, even if you don't trust them. And let me just say this before I get started, because there are a lot of people on this here internet that are claiming to be HR coaches, HR consultants, whoopty whoopty whoop, podcast people, all kind of non-HR people who are telling you, don't go to HR. It's only going to do you more bad than good. Nothing's going to come of it. And that part may be true, but not going to HR only benefits the company. It does not benefit you, and here is why. When you start a new job, you sign an employee handbook as a condition of your employment. If you've ever bothered to read an employee handbook, you will know that somewhere in that book, there's going to say something about this is a workplace that's free of discrimination, harassment, hostility, retaliation, right? Then it's going to say, if you experience any of these things in the workplace, please raise a concern to HR. And then you sign that document acknowledging that you understand what to do in the event that you've experienced any of these things in the workplace. So when you experience these things and then you don't go to HR, but then you want some accountability, either through an EEOC charge or asking for severance, hiring a lawyer to ask for severance, or you actually just go ahead and do the full-blown lawsuit, what is the first thing that these people want to say? They're going to say, Your Honor, she knew what she had to do to get her issue addressed. She chose not to. We don't know why, Your Honor. She signed this employee handbook where she acknowledged that she understood the policies and the procedures that we have to address these kind of things. We don't know why she didn't do it, but we can't. How will we know? How do we know? We didn't even get a chance, Your Honor, to fix it. And it doesn't matter if you and I know that they probably weren't doing anything anyway. It's just the principle that you didn't give them opportunity after you acknowledged that you knew what you were supposed to do and you didn't do it. So there's a way to go to HR, and we'll talk about that more in the content to come. But there's a way to go to HR, but you must go to HR if you want any kind of accountability.
Long story short, you have to set the paper trail. That's what's very important. Have your documentation, have your emails before you go to HR. I mean, because again, just because you don't, like you said, just because you don't trust HR doesn't mean you still don't need to follow the proper protocol and procedure. Because, like, again, they will play dumb and say, well, we never knew about this. We never had a chance to rectify it. So, no, you want to create the paper trail, make HR aware. So later down the line, again, if you do file a lawsuit, there can't nobody pass the buck and say, we never had the opportunity to address this concern.
It's not that HR is out to get you, although, yeah, sometimes that's the case. It's that they're simply not on your side. Remember, a human resource department is hired by companies and paid by companies to help them with compliance and to keep lawsuits from getting too big. So naturally, if there's a dispute between you and your boss or you and the company, it's unreasonable to expect HR to help you win a lawsuit against their boss. That's just not going to happen. So communicate with HR, tell them what's going on, keep copies for yourself, but ultimately it's going to be a lawyer who's on your side, not human resources.
Facts. I mean, that's like you going to sue someone and the person that you're suing, they're paying for their lawyer and your lawyer as well. I mean, that's already going to be a conflict of interest. So you have to understand in the workplace, you really have no friends. You have to make sure you're staying on your P's and Q's. And if a situation arises, make sure you document. If you don't take anything from this video, you have to document.
If you're having issues with your job, specifically if you work in corporate or some sort of setting where you have like an HR presence, why are you still reporting stuff to HR? You're only going to get even more frustrated and more upset the fact that they're not going to really do anything to help, essentially, because their job is to protect the interests of the company. So why are y'all still going to HR? And then upset when you're not doing, like, if you're having issues at that point, you have to go to HR, start documenting stuff. You start a running tab of all the stuff you're experiencing, screenshots, emails, proof. And baby, once the time comes for you, when you fed up, submit that document, go legal, but make sure you find another job first. But do not go to HR. Unfortunately, they're not going to help you. Stop doing it, okay? Okay.
The whole purpose of going to HR is not with the intent for them to help you. I mean, if they do, great, but you're going to follow the protocol. You're going to, again, document. So this is all a part of documenting the process, leaving the breadcrumbs so you can set up the lawsuit or set up whatever outcome that you're looking to get. You actually have proof, and you can say, "Hey, I followed the chain of command. I followed the proper protocol. Here's my proof. Here's my evidence. Here's my emails. Here's the screenshots. I had a conversation with this person at this time, this name." That's what it's all about. It's not about, again, you believing in HR, because you already know this. They're not there to really help you. Again, they're on the payroll of the company. So you have to go in understanding it and know that you have to really just play the game. And ultimately, you're doing it just to really cover your own ass. But let me know in the comments how you feel about HR. Do you believe they're your friends or are they your foe? I know we're going to have some HR specialists in the comments. Let me know what you think. I look forward to hearing from you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.